Dang. I really pissed a lot of people off with that Jujutsu Kaisen video, huh? I should really make an apology or do something to make that fandom happy so they don't hate me forever. Shouldn't I? Shouldn't I? Nah, fuck them. Anyways, welcome back to our regularly scheduled card game anime programming. This week, we will be talking about the next 3 episodes of Cardfight Vanguard Divine Z. Why, you may be asking yourselves? Well, last time we did that, I was very in the middle. I was basically pretty much of the opinion that it was better than I thought, but there was some stuff simmering there that I was afraid was going to make it bad, and I just wouldn't be very interested in talking about it or even want to follow it that much. However, I am happy to report that I've been enjoying this. I've had fun. Is this the greatest anime ever? No. Do I like it better than Jujutsu Kaisen? Hell yes. Uh, but yeah, there's a lot to like here. There's also one or two things not that we'll get into a little later. But let's start off with the good. So the big thing I really like about this show is that it is choosing to do what Cardfight Vanguard does whenever it is good. Every time this franchise puts out any content that is halfway decent, it is because it relies on the characters, because it goes much more into their emotions and their drama and their personal struggles. Cardfight Vanguard fails the minute it tries to have some big bombastic plot, which could still very much happen here. We still have over half a season to go. But for right now, it's doing what I enjoy. There's really no other way to say it. Everything from the way, I got their names up in front of me, Akina handles meeting new people, to Nao's personal drama, to Mikoto, and even some of the Taizo stuff, I think is actually really nice. So let's start off with right where we left off, and that is with episode 3, Akina's big match with Nao. And I like the way this was handled. I like the idea that Nao doesn't have some weird thing about her. It's a very realistic situation. This is a girl who has always been talented. She's always been good at card fights. She's always enjoyed the game. And something I think that's very interesting is that it shows this idea that it was almost a sense of maybe not necessarily escapism, but it allowed for her to kind of have that childlike belief that being a card fighter made her feel stronger. It made her feel more powerful. Like she was the hero and the main character. And that's what propelled her going forward. But now that she is just a straight up adult, she's what, 18, 19, 20? Now that she's an adult and she's faced with the very real world of having to turn her childhood hobby into a career, she's having a lot of trouble adapting into that mindset. She's not doing as well in tournaments as she would like to. She has to deal with the very real possibility that if she doesn't shape up, she's not going to get sponsors. She's not going to be able to get paid. All this real world stuff and how it collides with that childhood love of Vanguard and what it allowed her to feel, and how she feels like she's kind of losing it and it's making her lose the connection to the game. I think it's a hell of a lot better than just, I love Vanguard, but I don't know if I love it like I used to, that you see time and time again in toy commercial shonens. Instead, here it genuinely feels like a good metaphor for growing up and watching as your passions change as your position in life changes. It's like the movie Moneyball, or as I like to call it, peak Brad Pitt. There's a scene in the movie where a baseball scout just flat out says, there's a time where we have to stop playing the kids game. We don't know when it'll come, but it's going to happen. And that's effectively what happened for her. And seeing how she doesn't just know what to do, it kind of feels fitting that she would then want to be that wish that she just gets that passion again. And I like the way her fight with Akina goes, in that Akina uses staples. My man uses Cadbray. I'm a big Cadbray fan. And when you get to the end of the fight, I sort of like that Now loses, but she definitely realizes that it's on her to get better. It is in her control, and she's able to make her dream come true her own way. I thought that was really touching and really nice. I like that Now is still in the background. My big concern was everyone kind of just disappearing as the episodes progressed, but I was happy to see that didn't really happen. And I guess we'll just have to see where the season goes with her. The next 2 episodes were about our next girl. It is a little odd. We blew through both female characters like very quickly, and now they're both out of the tournament, but maybe we can be hopefully optimistic and assume they'll do something else while our hero has to fight the next like 3 people. But yeah, the Makoto stuff I also liked. I like the idea that, first up, let's talk about her design. I think it's very interesting that we all know Bushi loves to shove idols into this franchise to the point where it feels fucking creepy. But with her, I think it's interesting. Her regular look, she doesn't overtly look like an idol. She kind of looks like she would be the local kind of cute but nerdy girl, which is what she is. I like the idea she's not this big, over-the-top, egotistical idol person. She's very much just this teenage girl who likes to just hang out in her room in pajamas, and she likes playing Deer Days on her Switch or PC or whatever the fuck. I don't play Deer Days. And that's just kind of what she wants, and I like that her dilemma is kind of finding that balance between both what she likes and what she does. Like, it's the same sort of issue with Now, but I feel like it feels unique in how it would go about. People at this age, rather it's in their teens or early 20s, do deal with this sense of identity and finding out who you are and how you're adapting and changing. And I feel like the show does a very good job of showing that in 2 very different ways. It almost feels like the show does have this understanding that it needs to ground things in a relatable manner for the viewer. And yeah, again, like I always keep saying, that's what Cardfight Vanguard needs to do to succeed. Be its own unique thing, and that unique thing is relying more on character drama and character strengths. And that's sort of what we see here. I like the interaction she has with the sister. I like that they're just 2 people who know each other on Deer Days. It feels a lot more realistic than some overtly complex history with somebody. Side note, was I the only one who immediately, the minute you heard the sister scream, knew the joke was going to be she wasn't in danger? So yeah, I thought all that was very well done. And once again, at the end of her fight, going through this whole thing kind of just made her realize, well, I have to grasp things with my own hand. Yes, the message of your dreams and wishes are things you have to work towards and prepare yourself for. It's very heavy-handed, but I could sort of see where it's going with everybody and feel like it's done in a way that's relatable enough. I also like the way Taizo is brought into this. I really didn't have a strong opinion on Taizo one way or another in the other series, but I think they do a good job of making him feel like he's older, which he is. He's like 25. They make him feel older and more mature, but also like still kind of like he wants to win. He wants to win the tournament. Like, I think that's done in a very good way. And I feel like they're taking advantage of his older age to really influence his interactions with everyone. I thought it was really good. And I think the show is just doing a really good job with this aspect to its story. Now, as for the problems, because we're wrapping up here. So the one thing is, yes, I am very worried once the plot comes in, how it's going to execute. The fact that like the way the moral has been handed does feel very heavy-handed is a little annoying. So it kind of makes me wonder how it'll affect the actual story itself. But the real big issue I have is that, and again, I know I just said I like the fact that it's keeping it simple, that it's keeping it focused on characters, but I kind of feel like it's a little bit of a cheat that our main hero has not had to make any tough decisions in this. And what I mean is that so far we've faced off against 2 people who, when proposed the ultimate wish for anything, picked 2 very obtainable things. Whereas our hero, Akina, does not have that luxury. He can't just wake up one day and be like, I'm going to just wish away my sister's cute anime girl disease, whatever the fuck she has. He can't do that. So we're rooting for him to win, but there's not really anything else engaging with that. it's not like Now has like, I don't know, a dying sibling or Makoto is sick or just anything like that. It all just sort of feels like it's so that way you won't root for anybody else. You'll just root for Akina and you'll always think he's in the right and not have to seriously make the hard question of, well, would it be better if someone else won because they're in more immediate danger than his sister? It's sort of like when they did Wonder Woman 1984 and Pedro Pascal was granting like everyone's wishes and like Diana's like, no, everyone take your wishes back. And you as the viewer are kind of like, but wait, what about people who are just wishing for their cancers to go away or things like that? But yeah, all in all, I do like this show a lot more than I thought I would. I am genuinely enjoying it. I want to see what happens next. I hope it keeps up the nice pace. Will it be perfect? I don't know, but we'll keep an eye on it. So yeah, that was it for this week's Vanguard. Tell me what you thought about these episodes in the comment section below. As for the Vanguard question of the week, they're coming. The Stride deck sets, the next two are almost here. On the one hand, we have Luard, which is a fun tier 1.5 deck, and Shiranui, which is dominating the entire Japanese meta. Obviously, we saw at Worlds that it did not, I guess because like TCG stuff was legal, but Shonen Doji, if I'm saying that right, took the whole thing, so maybe the meta is evolving around it, but what do you think? Are you excited for these two decks to come in? Do you not like the idea of a more control-heavy strategy like Shiranui showing up? Tell me about that below. And as always, click to like, click to subscribe, and join me next time where we'll see if this show can keep up the momentum.